Hello guys. Hey, welcome to Mac Yak number 61, aka Q&A session number 10. How are you guys doing? Hi Aaron. Hi Trina. Hi Matt. Hi Ben. How's everyone doing today? Hope the stream's looking good and sounding good. I've got a few things planned today, and we're going to see if it works. But first, I've got to actually sign into this iPad because I forgot to do that. I'm going to try to dial someone in, and I don't know how it's going to go. But let's first move OBS over where I can see it right here. So yeah, what happened today is, hello, the audio nut. How you doing? What happened today was GT had to work today. They scheduled him. He couldn't get out of it, so he couldn't stream. Steve was the only other person that could do it, and he ended up needing to have a meeting or something like that. Let's see here. Bruce could probably have done it now, but first off, he's in Australia. Latency and all that stuff. Second off, he originally was supposed to have a meeting. He couldn't make it. Rocky is at a function with his daughter, and Jay actually would have been on time, but he would have never had time to set up the stream. So we decided to cancel Mac Yak, and I thought, no, let's not cancel Mac Yak. That's dumb. Let's just do another Q&A like we did back in October. So here we are. I am hosting Mac Yak. I took over Mac Yak, and I forgot to sign into this again. Contacts. Yeah, it's not going to help. Let me see here. I got to look up this contact I'm trying to get. Hi, Bruce. Welcome to the stream. Wish you could be on here with me. Let's see here. I dropped my mouse. I know. I've already verified my account. Thank you. Let's see here. Let's see if he'll take a phone call real quick. Add. Enter. Let's see if it will take it. All right, well, I'm going to call in a former guest of the show real quick, just to say happy birthday to him, and we'll see if this works. It's going to be interesting to find out. And the camera just, come on, wake up. Stop. Come on. Unblur. Unblur. Yeah, there we go. Okay. So what's the skinny on the Titan Ridge mod on the CMP? Apparently, I haven't read into it a whole lot, but apparently there is a new firmware out which basically flashes the chip to have native Mac support. So you don't have to have Windows anymore. Pretty neat, but I'm pretty sure you either have to remove the chip or stick a programmer to it. It sounds to be a bit of a pain in the butt, and I don't think all cards are supported, but some are. So I'm going to call him real quick. Let's see here. Video. Well, it's ringing. It's still ringing. I don't think he's going to answer. He might answer later. But, yeah, he couldn't answer. He's probably still coming back from piano lessons or something. I'm trying to contact, let's see here, Justin Morgan, because it's his birthday, and he wanted to be on Mac Yak this week, and we had to cancel. So I was going to call him in real quick and say hi and wish him a happy birthday. So happy birthday, Justin. I'll try to call you again before the end of the stream. Hopefully, I'll remember to do that. Anyway, let's see here. Would you recommend a mod for a RX 560? I still have my 5.1 Pro. Yeah, Ben. If I remember correctly, it doesn't need any external power, so it should just be plug and play. Or is that the 550? Anyway, it should work fine. It's just a lot more underpowered than a 570 or 580, or even a 480. You can get a 480 pretty darn cheap, and it's literally the same card as a 580. It's just slightly slower, but you can even flash them to 580s. Okay. Yeah, I saw that, Aaron. I have no clue what you were referring to right there. But anyway, let's see here. I've got my HD live cam right here, and it went out of focus again. Come on. Focus. Why is it doing that? It is annoying. Yeah, this stream's going very well so far. But anyway, I've got my HD live cam right here. If I dial someone in, I don't know how to split screen on OBS yet. I mean, I do, but I don't want to get the audio from the split screen. I'm working on that. I don't know if I can get the boot screen on the 560. It's just shot in the dark for 560s. You probably won't, but you might. And you don't really need a boot screen anymore, Ben. But anyway, I've got my HD live cam right here, and we have it in camera mode. Where did I put my mouse? Oh yeah, I dropped it earlier. Let's see here. Hi. Yeah, so this is going to be a secondary camera if I need it. I actually have my eMac over there plugged in, and this is on an extension cable, so I can run it over to the eMac if we want to do something fun over there. So, yeah, this is a view you probably don't want to see. Anyway, close that camera. Put this over here for now. But yeah, Ben, I doubt you have my login info. I'd let you dial in otherwise, and I don't have Skype on this iPad, so that's not going to happen. Sorry. I'm only contacting people that already have my info. Yeah. Anywho, so yeah, today's Q&A, like usual Hrutkay Mods Q&A, but Mac Yak themed. And please focus. Why is it not focusing? Focus. Focus. Maybe if I sit back here. There we go. Okay. Yeah. This is annoying. But anyway, it's going to have a Mac Yak flavor to it since we're on Mac Yak. And it's going to, I'm going to talk about anything you guys want to talk about. Bring me up topics. I'll see if I at least know about them. And also, I want to say happy anniversary to iOmega's zip disk. It came out 25 years ago in the last few days. I can't remember exactly. It might have been today. But yeah, the zip disk is 25 years old now. And it might be obsolete, but still very useful even today. And I use that on a lot of vintage Macs. Use it on my modern Macs too. So I feel so old. Yeah, Trina, I was using Zip 250s when they were dying out and the 750s were coming out. I used those for about a year and a half. I still have all my original discs. Have like 15 gigabytes worth of Zip 250s in a box somewhere. So I love zip disk. It was a very good invention. It just It was very unreliable, which was the first, at least the original drives were, which was the first nail in the coffin, and really stained the history of the zip disk. And by the time it started really getting good storage was the time the CDRWs were getting really cheap. By then, that killed it. Plus, flash was getting cheap too. So, nice, Scarlett. Nice, nice. I'm thinking of swapping my MacBook Pro 2013 for a 2017. I don't know if I should, and where should I do it? It depends whether you really need the horsepower, because for one reason, the 2013's horsepower, depending on what model, it's not very different from a 2017. If you're talking about getting different, we're talking at least, I think the 2018 was the i9, the first i9. When those came out, that was a large horsepower difference. 2017 versus 2013, there's not much of a difference. And honestly, I'd stick with the 2013 because, first off, the keyboard's better than the butterfly keyboards in the 2017. It's got more ports, and you can do basically anything you need to do with the 2017 on your 2013. You can even do an eGPU with a little tiny OS hack, and you Thunderbolt 2 to 3 works totally fine. So, yeah. Let's see here. My first 1 GB flash drive was in 2006, and it was $50. That was cheap in 2006, Trina, for a gig. It was really cheap because my first flash drive was a 256 meg, and it cost like $250 in like 2003 or 4. So, yeah. I'll stick with the 2013 then. Yeah, you probably should. Because other than the graphics being slightly better on the 2017, there's so many problems with 2017, it's not worth it. Plus, like I said, you can use an eGPU and it should work. So, it was 50% off. Yeah, it's even a better deal because $100 sounds about right for a gigabyte flash drive in 2006. I actually came up with this thought the other day. I was looking at external hard drives in Walmart, and I was looking at the $160 ones. And I remember back when 160 gigabytes for $160 in 2004 was really, really cheap. A gigabyte a dollar was a great deal. And I was looking at Walmart, and the 160 gig dollar drives are now 8 terabytes. And it's amazing how technology changes. 8 terabytes for $160, that's incredible, especially for an external drive. Yeah, so. So I'm going to try to call Justin one more time while we're here. We'll put him on the other camera if it works. He's not answering. Oh, here he goes. 1 second. And turn the camera on. All right, guys. So we have Justin Morgan right here. Yeah, this is silly, isn't it? Say hi, Justin.
Hey guys and gals.
So yeah, today's Justin's birthday. He's what, 39 now?
39, yes.
Yeah, happy birthday.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm also holding my thumb over the camera.
Yes.
Oh well.
Yes.
But anyway, can you guys hear him all right? So you want to say anything, Justin?
Well, glad you called me tonight. I'm sporting my shirt for today because apparently today is also National Retro Day.
Is it?
It is.
That's
So I'm wearing
very
my
interesting.
Never Forget shirt. I
That's
just
cool.
wish it had a classic Mac on it, then it would be complete.
Yeah, it would be.
But at least it's got the important ones like the floppy disk and the cassette tape.
Yeah.
I found one that has the NES cartridge and the VHS tape. So
So yeah, everyone's wishing you a happy birthday right now. You should really hop on to the live stream chat, man.
yeah, I'll be on here momentarily.
Alrighty. Well, happy birthday, Justin. I'll
Thanks,
catch you
everybody.
later. Bye. Let's see here. Bye. So yeah. So everyone, thank you for wishing him a happy birthday. Let me turn this camera off. And yeah, that was cool. So that was our one of our former guest stars, Justin. I can hear him quite well. It's good to hear because I had the microphone on. I mean, the speakers on Max on the iPad. I really need to work on this split screen stuff. It's I can do, like I said, I can capture the windows, but I don't know how I get the audio to work yet. So, what did you do to the crew? I tied them up and I threw them in one of my closets. But yeah, like I said earlier, Brock. And let's see here. GT had to work. Jay could have made it, but not to set up the stream. So he's probably going to end up in the chat eventually. He would have gotten home and never had enough time to do it. Steve had a meeting or some kind of emergency. Rocky's at a function with his daughter. And Bruce is here in the chat. He couldn't really do the stream. And it looks like it would have just been Bruce, Jay, and I. So we just decided to cancel the show, and I decided to take it over and stream myself. So I'm hosting Mac Yak 61. And I could have hosted probably, but like I said, I still don't know how to use OBS, and we didn't figure it out until Heidi here in the chat. See, Bruce is here. We didn't figure out that no one was going to be able to do anything until yesterday, and by then it was too late for me to try to save this stream. So if I'd had like a week's notice, I could have learned OBS properly, and we could have actually had Mac Yak on my gigabit internet that actually seems to be working as long as I'm wired in. So, yeah. Let's see here. Aaron, I'd like to get on Mac Yak, but I'm boring as all get out. Nah, I'm sure you'd be fine, man. Hi, Josh S. How you doing? So yeah. I'm here to talk about any topics you want. You know, Mac Yak goes for an hour and a half now. I don't know why we came up with that rule. So I'm going to be here an hour and a half unless we run out of things to talk about. So, we could do something fun-ish, maybe, if you want. I don't know how I'm going to record the audio for it because I was going to bring my wireless lavalier mic to do this segment, and I forgot to bring it next door. So, I don't know if this is going to work. Let me see if I can add audio here. Let's see here. I'm going to probably mess something up here, but let's see. Nope. Properties. Nope. Add. Audio capture. Let's see here. Okay. All right, 1 second. Can you guys hear me on this microphone right here? It's probably a lot more quiet. Can you hear me at all? Anyone? It's super quiet. Yeah, I can't do a whole lot about it because this microphone sucks on this camera. But yeah, we will be doing using this camera for the Emac segment. But let's go to the regular audio. I'll turn this audio off. Okay, is that better? Yeah, I can't do a whole lot. Sorry, guys. I don't think this thing will let me boost the audio. Let's see here. Advanced. Oh yeah, it will let me boost it. Okay. I am doing the wrong one, maybe. No, I'm doing the right one. Let's boost it. We'll test the audio one more time. Okay, how about now, guys? Is it better or does it need more boost? Sorry, I didn't plan this stuff ahead of time. No, let's boost it some more. How about now? Is that better? Same as before. What the heck? How about now? Is that better? This is ridiculous. I keep boosting it. Okay. Yeah. That's all right, Charlie. We're just watching me screw up the stream. We'll boost it one more time. Let's go up to 5. How about now? Can you hear me on this? That's better, but still quiet. Well, I'm basically screaming at the camera, so yeah. Well, when it gets to it, I'll just scream as loud as I can. How high can I boost? I don't know. Let's see. How about now? Can you hear me? By this point, the audio's got to be getting pretty bad. What will your neighbors say? I live in the middle of nowhere. Boost it like 200%. I have boosted it 700%. Let's boost it to, let's see here, 1,000? How about now? Can you hear me? Yeah, this is like at the peak before it starts really clipping. Better. Okay, good. So we're going to use a 10 decibel boost on this microphone when we do the Emac segment. I can hear some clipping. Yeah, well, I'm going to not scream at the microphone now that we have that going. So, Matt, you might want to turn it down because this is going to get loud. I'm back. Okay. Anyway, yeah, we'll be using this camera for that when we get to that segment. Thanks for the warning. You're welcome. Honestly, the mic levels on this microphone, I could still probably boost it. I don't know if it's going to let me boost it anymore. Sorry, I'll try this one more time. Let's see here. we're going to go 15. Okay, so yeah, that is a much louder level there. I'm not going any higher. It's probably going to sound terrible otherwise, but we have a 15 decibel boost on this thing. So, yeah, we'll use that for the EMAC segment. I have this thing on an extremely long extended USB cable here. Where is it? As we can see here, I have it on keyboard extensions from Apple. So, yeah, let's switch mics again. Okay, so just remind me when I switch over to the other camera to turn the microphone back on. Otherwise, you're not going to be hearing anything. But anyway, I also have to figure out how I'm going to film that segment without being able to see anything. It's going to be fun because the EMAC is over there, and I can't see the screen from here when I'm over there. So that's going to be interesting. But anyway, let's think of some topics here. Is there a way to prevent the phone from zooming to the text box when I start typing? I don't know, Charlie. Turn the screen around. Yeah, I'm going to try that, but the way this thing's sitting on the table with my Mac Mini under it and a bunch of other things, it might not work. I might be able to do it. But yeah. Anyway. So, any questions, guys? Apple switching to ARM this year? No. I highly doubt that will happen. I'm going to predict, and most of my predictions usually happen. My prediction about NVIDIA drivers in Mojave didn't happen, but we'll just pretend I didn't predict that. No, the most likely thing, Brock, that Apple will ever do, at least for the next few years for Macs, is switch to AMD, which might be a good idea for now. We'll see. Why are they switching to ARM? It's been a rumor since like 2013 that 2018 that they'd be switching over to ARM and making their own chips for Macs, and that the Mac Pro 7,1 would be the last brand new Intel Mac, which I don't think that's the truth, because I think I can't remember if the 16-inch MacBook Pro came out before or after. But still, it's not going to be the last Intel Mac. It might be the last Intel Mac, but it's not going to be the last x86 Mac. There's drivers found in the latest updates, betas of AMD drivers, and it looks like Apple might actually go to AMD with some of their future Macs, but ARM, that's not going to happen. So. Yeah, Apple and NVIDIA definitely do need to get rid of this feud. It's insane, but honestly, I understand a bit why Apple did what they did, because they've been feuding with NVIDIA for years. One of the very first things that started this whole disaster was when they introduced the G4 Cube. They had the non-disclosure agreement and stuff with NVIDIA, and NVIDIA decided to, I think it was the Cube, but NVIDIA decided to boast that they were going to be the main video card and the top-end video card in the Cubes. I think it was the Cubes. And they did this all before they revealed the Cube. And Steve Jobs was so mad he didn't even mention NVIDIA cards were included, and ATI ended up being the top, the main card. You'd get, when you'd order it, you'd get the Rage 128 Pro, or the Radeon, but there was also the MX3 from NVIDIA, was the top end card at the time, and he didn't mention one thing about it during that, and that's what started the Nvidia feud. And then the debacles about Nvidia chipsets and stuff going bad in the mid 2000s, killing GPUs dying and stuff. Of course, Nvidia fixed it and did revised chips. AMD never did, with, for instance, the MacBook 2011 MacBook Pro and stuff. AMD just put a band-aid on it and the chips would die again. Nvidia actually owned up to it and did a revision of their screwed up chips. But all that stuff, the writing was on the wall by the time they killed it off. The last Mac with Nvidia was, I think, in 2014. And since then, it was bound to happen. Will the coronavirus mess up Apple's product line this year? It really depends. I haven't read a whole lot into it. I think the coronavirus is way blown out of proportion here, honestly. But they are shutting down a lot of factories in fear of the coronavirus spreading. It depends what factories Apple is using and shipping stuff. Some shipping companies aren't shipping from certain areas right now because they're afraid that they're contaminated and all this stuff. So it really depends what factories get hit in what areas. So it's a 50-50 if that's going to hurt Apple's production this year or not. So we'll see. I've owned a lot of computers and newer had one with AMD CPU. Never had one with AMD CPU. I've had plenty of AMD ATI graphics, but no CPUs. I'm an NVIDIA and Intel fanboy, PC-wise. I have to say PC-wise now. I grew up on Intel. I've had one AMD system that I can think of. My mom's also had one AMD system, and they were both total crap. But one was an Athlon 64, which I still have sitting at my mother's house. It's running, I think, Windows 10 on it. I upgraded it a few years ago. Slower than molasses, but it still runs, and it's an Athlon 64. I mean, those things are slow as hell, but I guess bulletproof because it's been around since what, 2004. So that's impressive, and it can run Windows 10, but it's slow. And Mom had some kind of entry-level notebook with some low-powered AMD processor. It takes like 10 minutes to boot up into Windows 10. It's so painfully slow. I've never had a good experience with AMD, but I come to think of it, I do have a system upstairs which was folding. It's got one of AMD's first high-end chips. I don't remember which one it is. It's the one before the FX chips, the ones, the first quad core they had. Or no, first 6 core. It's either a quad or a 6. I don't remember which. But whatever one that one is, it's okay. It runs decently. But there's something going on with the board. A lot of those systems apparently had board issues. And the VRM runs really freaking hot. So, yeah, I'll get to that in a second, Brock. But it runs really freaking hot, but it does still work, and it runs folding when I have it running. I got that from, it was a weird server my dad was building, and it ended up collecting dust for about 10 years, something like that. It's been a while. But I've never had good experiences, but Ryzen is impressive. I'll give you that. Ryzen and all the other chips that are coming out since Ryzen, it's they've done a total 180 from everything, and they're better than Intel. And I hate to say that because I'm a big Intel fanboy. Every single computer except for like two I own have Intel. And of course, all my Intel Macs have Intel. I'm a big Intel guy, but I could see Apple going to AMD long before ARM, and get some EPIC chips for the Mac Pro. Smoke the 7,1 with the 8,1. I mean, just light it on fire, because the EPIC will and can and will do that. It's pretty impressive. So, let's see here. I'll be back. I'll see you in a bit, Trina. If you look closely at the PowerMac G5 logic board, you'll see some kind of AMD chip on it. Yeah, Brock, they actually, AMD used to make other chips other than CPUs. They made a lot of controller chips and stuff. If you look at some PowerPC systems, I think some PowerBook G4s have them and stuff. If you look, there's Intel controller chips in some of them. I can't remember which models right offhand, but I've seen a few Intel controller chips. AMD was the same way. They had controller chips that managed, like, I think the RAM and stuff. And if you look inside the Snow White Airport Extreme base station, the first one that was round with that kind of nipple design, really neat design, but kind of, I guess you could say it was kind of a nipple looking thing. Mushroom top. Anyway, if you look on the board on that thing, if I remember correctly, it's got an AMD chip in it. AMD did that for years. Let's see here. How do I turn it off? I have no clue, Charlie. I have no clue at all how to stop it from zooming in and out. I'm excited to get an 08 HP workstation I have back from a relative who was using it and upgrade it from a Core 2 Duo to a Core 2 Quad. I'll tell you what, the Core 2 Quads, like the Q6600, still one of the greatest chips of all time, because it's still so modern today. It's silly. Sure, it can't play a lot of today's modern games because of the lack of SSE 4.2, which a lot of modern games require for some stupid reason. But it can still hold its own with a lot of things. Multi-threaded processes have brought those things back from the dead, and it's incredible. I actually had my cousin give me a workstation to rebuild for him so he could actually take it to a charity and have some kid get it for a computer. And I thought, well, I already have a Q6600, and it had a some Core 2 Duo in it. I put the Q6600 in it, and I tell you what, the performance like quadrupled. It was incredible. It's fun to work on old systems like that and upgrade them to something that just screams. I mean, it won't scream compared to a very modern system, but it still screams compared to the hardware back in the day. And it's amazing what you can do with those things. It's unfortunate that early Macs won't take the Core 2 Quad. It is, but you have to also remember that most early Macs that had Core 2 Duos in them, most of them, I want to say the iMac, late 09 iMac, the Core 2 Duo version, actually had 775 socket in it, but it still was only limited to Core 2 Duos, I think. But most Macs had mobile Core 2 Duos in them and mobile sockets. So, and I think they did that because it was lower power, it didn't run as hot, and you didn't need as many fans. You know how Steve Jobs felt about fans. So Yeah, it sucks because the world's fastest 2009 Mac Mini, which Ken from the Computer Clan still has, um, Colin and I were trying to get a quad to run because there's a one quad that will run in that socket, but you have to modify the chip some. And he got it to go start booting up, but it would freeze as it started loading up. And we think it's some kind of firmware lockout. I don't know if it's ever going to be bypassed, but it would have been really neat. So, anyway, let's see here. Would love to put one in my 2007 iMac. Yeah, it's definitely not going to happen. 90 skater dude. It's just the way they are. Plus, back in 2007, they didn't have a mobile quad that I can think of. The only mobile quad systems were some workstation laptops that had like full on 775 socket systems in it. Intel's latest 10th gen CPUs are hot. The i9 10-core has a TDP of 350. I believe that, Brock, because I inherited Dad's photo editing machine, which has an X299 i9 in it. It's 7960X. That thing, it was built by some kind of boutique. I can't remember who made it. Some boutique place that had no clue what they were doing, apparently, because that thing currently is broken because I can't run it very long. It's got a 120 rad in it, cooling the CPU at stock speeds. It's not overclocked. And it would max out at around 100C and eventually crash. Those things suck so much heat. It reminds me of the back in the days of the Pentium 4s. And funny thing is, I was actually a big fan of Pentium 4s back in the day. I was still rocking I'm sitting next door now. Pentium 4 Galactan, Pentium 4 Extreme Edition 3.46, which I had it overclocked to 3.5. It's not a huge overclock, but the board I had didn't really allow you to overclock. I still had that thing next door until I got my first quad desktop. I was still using that thing as a daily gaming machine. And I got my first quad desktop in like 2009. So that thing served me very well. I was playing Call of Duty 4 on it. With a HD 3850 AGP graphics card in it. And it ran it like a champ with 2 gigs of DDR in it. Pentium 4s were okay, but they ran really hot. Really, really inefficient CPUs. Honestly, the G5s were probably more efficient than a Pentium 4, which is sad when you think about it. So anyway, wonder what the TDP of the P8600 is on my Mac Mini. It's probably not too much, because that's a mobile CPU. You can just literally look it up to see what the TDP is. Just type in P8600 and it should tell you. Ever look on eBay for a transition kit machine? Yes. I look for it all the time. If I ever get one, I'd love to have one. But finding the OS build for it would be a pain. I'd love to find one, though. Anyone streaming Saturday night? Don't know yet, Charlie. Probably. We'll probably have someone streaming. But anyway, people are doing soldering all the time on their channels. Bruce, Steve, Jay's been doing some live streams. So TDP of the P8600 is 25 watts. Thank you, Justin. So there you go. Yeah. Let's see here. Aaron says, well, those are running Panther, right? For the transition systems? No, they were running a custom build of Tiger, early custom build of Tiger. So developers who were writing code for Macs could write the Universal and Intel code before Apple released the first Intel systems. And they were running Pentium 4s, which there was never a Mac with a Pentium 4, and there's a lot of instruction sets in Pentium 4s that just don't exist from compared to the Core Duo and Core Solos that were coming out at the time. There are a number of instruction sets missing on that, so early Intel code must have really sucked. But that custom build of Tiger will only run on that system, and you can't run regular Intel Tiger on it or PowerPC Tiger on it. You have to have that specific build, which is finding that build's got to be pretty hard. I know it's out there. Someone found it a few years ago, but I don't know where you find it. Yeah, it's absolutely nothing for sure. It's a really small heatsink too. Like I said, it's a mobile CPU. So anyway. Well, Bruce, you can start streaming midday Saturday. That would be Friday night for us. There you go. We have someone streaming for Friday then. Okay, my audio came back. Wonder what happened. Good to hear, Matt. Okay, guys. Well, I have the eMac. It's still running. I'm actually a little surprised. I've been having problems with this eMac. You guys want to take a quick look at it? I don't have anything planned for it, but I thought, I've got it running. I've been working on setting it up some more. I've been having a nightmare doing it. We'll explain it to you while we're over there. So, let me take the camera over there because there's some things in this room I just don't want you guys to see right offhand. So let me take a camera over there. And excuse my dogs. It's the worst possible time for her to be barking. And the camera's all tangled up. I have literally 50 different wires just wrapped around me right now. If this place catches on fire, I'm screwed. Okay. Is that free now? No, it's still wrapped up in wires. Okay. Let me take the camera over here. I'll be right back. Ugh. Okay, guys, so I'm going to switch cameras and try to move this monitor around. Saw your 90s skater dude. Saw your video about PowerPC usability in 2020. Yeah, I think I saw your comment on it too. Did you like it? I hope you did. Anyway, let me start up this camera. There's the eMac. Let's pull this frame into full screen. And sorry, this is a 720p video, so it's going to be a lot softer than the 1080. And then I'm going to switch the microphone and try to twist this monitor without knocking everything off. So 1 second here. Yeah, I got it running Leopard. Let's actually before I do that, let me actually switch over to the chat on the phone too because it would come in handy. Turn the volume off. Oh, she's getting on my last nerve. Okay, so we're going to switch microphones. Can you guys hear me? The microphone's really far away from me. 1 second. Let's move this. Okay. Ouch. Ah, I almost dropped a lot of things on the floor there. Okay. Okay, can you hear me? No sound, too low. Like I said, the microphone's over on the other side of the room. So can you hear me now? I can't see over this pile of stuff from my dad. Okay. All right. I got everything lined up here. A little better. I sure hope so because I'm literally leaning over the camera right now. When you're yelling, I can just hear you. That's good. Keep listening to me while I yell. So anyway, we've got the eMac here. About this Mac, we got it running Leopard. To run Leopard on this thing was such a freaking pain. There's something wrong with this system, and I have no clue what it is. I think it's one of the RAM modules. Camera is too bright. I can't do a whole lot about the camera. This sucks. And zooming it in gives you a seizure, so yeah, it might help a little bit. So yeah, I think one of the memory modules is corrupted a little bit. It's not running properly. So I'm not sure what to do about it. But installing Leopard made me want to throw this thing out a window. But they're so heavy, it wouldn't have been easy to do. But this thing's running Leopard now. What I had to do is I had to target disk mode this thing and install it with my G5 quad, because for some reason this thing would install all of Leopard and then never boot into it. It would just give the prohibited sign, which means, yeah, there are brightness controls, I think. Yeah. Did that help? F14 and F15 on a keyboard will adjust brightness. Does that help? So yeah, I'm running Leopard on this system alongside OS 9. So I don't really know what to show you, but it's working. We can open up 10.4 Fox, which I think I have this thing plugged in, I hope. Yeah, that helps. I would put it all the way down. I don't think I can put it all the way down. Oh, yeah, I can. It does help a lot, doesn't it? Now it's so dark I can't see it, but at least you guys can. But yeah, we're running 10.4 Fox. Anyway, getting back to the point. To install Leopard, I had to target disk mode into it and install it. The problem is, while this thing was in target disk mode, if you would let it sit without having it write to the hard drive at all for about 5 to 10 minutes, the system would just self-shut off every single time. But for some reason, as long as it was writing to the hard drive, it would stay on. So you can't just leave this thing running in target disk mode, which was a giant pain in the butt. But yeah, it's running 10.4 Fox. We're online. I'd show you how that works, but you've seen 10.4 Fox before. And the system's running great. I'm very happy with it. But I also wanted to talk about this. Let's restart it and let's go into OS 9 for the heck of it. Like I said, this was the last AIO and most powerful AIO system that ran OS 9. It isn't actually. It's the last one that natively supported it, and I do air quotes because it natively supporting it. This one, of course, doesn't, and it still had to be hacked, but it's the same hardware as the one that actually is natively supported, which kills me. Don't know why Apple did that. But the very last one that natively, the most powerful AIO eMac, the very last one that really supported it was the 1.25 USB 2.0 model. And I just realized this mouse does not work, so I can't actually choose OS 9. Because I don't think I can control it with the arrow keys. Well, that's annoying. Well, I guess we're not going to OS 9 because I have to do it from the boot menu. You can't do it from the boot picker in Leopard because it knows that the system doesn't officially support it. Oh well. Tab key. I've never tried the tab key, but I don't think that would work either. It might. We can try it one more time. But anyway, I'm getting back to the point. The 1.25 USB 2.0 model is actually the one that had the Radeon 9200 graphics in it. It's basically a Mac Mini G4 with a CRT glued to the top of it and a slightly different audio chip. The 1.25 is indeed the most powerful one that totally supports OS 9. And it's got a 7447 in it, which was the last true generation G4 that was in Macs. So, guess I'm the only one here that has never fallen in love with CRT computers. Honestly, I hate CRT computers, but you've got to love the iMac and eMac. There's just something about the iMac G3 and the eMac that just really is addictive. These are literally the only CRTs I own, that and the G3 AIO right there. Let's try this one more time. I doubt Tab will do anything. If I had a slightly older mouse, I could just use the pointer. But yeah, even back in the day, I hated CRTs, but I'm starting to get an appreciation for them, and I really regret getting rid of the 20-inch Dell flat-screen Trinitron monitor I had brand new back in the day. It was extremely expensive back then. I trashed that. I thought I trashed it, and I went over to my mother's a while ago to verify that I did trash it, and we can't find it, so I must have. Those things are going for like $500 now, and if you look at them, they do have a beautiful image. Trinitrons are amazing. This, I believe, is a Trinitron right here. So, sorry if the camera keeps going off center there. But yeah, it's such a sharp image. It's incredible. Tab. Yeah, Tab's not doing anything. Thank you for the suggestion, though. I literally cannot, other than enter, which I just hit by accident. So we're going back into Leopard. Anyway, you guys saw this in my eMac unboxing video running OS 9 anyway. It's running Leopard also now, and I'll put Tiger on it too, but I'm going to actually wipe it and do a whole video on how to set it up properly eventually. I just haven't yet. And while we're over here, I want to show you one more thing, because now this is killing me. I got this really, really good shape titanium 500 right here. I don't know if you can see that right there. And this is the first and only thing I ever bought from this person, because I later found out this person is a giant racist. And I actually banned said person from every single group that I'm an admin to, because they are truly racists, and I have photographic proof of it. But before I found out said person was a racist, I bought this PowerBook G4 500 here, and it is in incredible shape. It's even got the original working battery, although it only holds like a 5-minute charge, if that. It works amazingly well, and the paint's even in good shape, as we can see. But I noticed one thing, and the last time I was using this, because I was trying to, I used this system to install OS 9 on this eMac. If you look at the back, normal, giant hole. This is the pram reset button, and I don't know what the person was smoking when they tried to reset the system here. It looks like they used some kind of ice pick and a hammer to open it, and for some reason that went into safe boot. That's probably not good. But anyway, there's a giant hole in this case, this almost perfect case. The only thing wrong with this case is paint missing on the edge on both hinges. Otherwise, this case is almost perfect. And it's got a giant hole in it. And I didn't notice that until like weeks after I bought this thing. It's killing me just thinking about it. But I thought I'd show you guys that, because I'll be doing a video on this eventually. I've got a titanium 400, which I might be able to pull some parts from, but I don't think the case is as good as this one. So I don't have much of an option. Sign this in. But yeah, I'm going to shut off this eMac, and then I'm going to jump back over there. I don't know why you would want to put an LCD in eMac. Yeah, honestly, back in the day, I wanted to do something like that, but there's not much of a point. I mean, look how big an eMac is. Putting an LCD in it is pretty stupid. Oop. Well, that's a titanium foot stuck to my wrist here. I think that's from the titanium. Yep. I lost one of the feet. That looks like the one that goes to the battery. Right there. But yeah. Anyway. So, let's shut this thing down. And I'll switch back to the other camera and we'll continue on. Yeah, at least it's in an obscure place for sure. So I'll set this down here. Ugh. And it's going to shut off eventually. Okay, so wait a second. Forgot to turn the thing around. Ah! I almost knocked everything over again. Okay, 1 second. Okay. Now I can switch the camera back over. Alright. So yeah, we're back here. Put an LCD in any CRT housing and I'll kill you. Well, honestly, Charlie, once upon a time, I wanted to stick a whole modern PC inside a case of a iMac G3, and to do that with full hardware and stuff, back when I wanted to do it, you would had to use an LCD. But now I guess you could probably use some kind of low-powered system. Let me turn this video off on here. And I apologize for my dogs. Again, I don't know why they're barking. Okay, she stopped. So, yeah, Aaron, that's my problem with Xena sometimes, I think. She'll overreact to a lot of things. What did I miss? Trina, you missed me showing off the eMac and me realizing I couldn't switch it over to OS 9 because my mouse doesn't work in the boot menu. Other than that, you really didn't miss a whole lot. Or figure out how to get the CRT working with modern components. Yeah, but Charlie, you got to understand that a lot of modern components are A, too big, or B, it just never would work. You could have switched it to OS 9 via open firmware, but that requires commands. Yeah, I could have, but also since it's not an officially supported Mac, it still may not do it in open firmware. They are barking because they are dogs. Good point, Scarlett. Good point. So anyway, let's see here. So I'm running out of ideas to talk about here. We've been streaming for an hour and 7 minutes. We still technically have another like 20 some minutes to go. And I am running out of ideas here. I'm actually surprised no one's noticed that I don't have a beard anymore, and I actually got a haircut. I haven't looked like this in like almost a year and a half or 2 years now. I was finally sick and tired of having that beard. So I went back to my chin strap, which I've had since sophomore year of college, which was like August of 2012. So anytime I shave, I rarely ever cleanly shave, because if I cleanly shave, to this day, I'm 28, and to this day, people still mistake me for a 15-year-old, although now I'm also balding. That's why I wear a hat all the time. If they saw me balding, they might not think I'm a 15-year-old, but that's why I never cleanly shave. I always have to have some kind of facial hair. But when I'm cleanly shaved, when I'm shaved like this, a lot of people think I'm in my late teens or early 20s. I guess yay for being young looking. But yeah, I did notice. I just didn't say anything. It's because the cap. Otherwise, I would have noticed. Really, I had a mustache and a full beard. But anyway, yeah, I've been cleanly shaven since, I want to say, Monday. I think it was Monday. That's when I finally shaved it off. It feels nice. And honestly, if I had shaven last summer, I would have had a white face, like down here. It would have looked really silly. I waited at least until my skin went nice and pale again. Do you want to install updates right now? No, I don't, Mac. Thank you. Remind me tomorrow. That's the nice thing about Mac OS. It doesn't force you to update, but it will nag you about it. May I ask how old are you? I just told you. I'm 28. I don't think you've ever revealed your age. I was born in late 91. You would like looking young when you're in your 50s. I know, Trina. My parents had that gift until they were in their getting close to their 60s. My dad died at 59. Uh, he almost got to 60. And he started looking his age after the first heart attack um, when he was, I think, 54. He started aging rapidly. My mother still looks about 45, and she's almost 60 now. She still looks very good. So I got really young looking genes, which is nice. I'm not complaining. It's just that constant having to pull out my ID is finally starting to get a little old. But I always have it ready. Saw the video about your dad. Sorry about that. Thank you, Matt. I try not to talk about him in my live streams, but it seems like he pops up in every live stream. And it doesn't help that I'm literally sitting in his man cave, and he's literally in the room right next to me. The downstairs has a kitchen right next to the man cave, and he's sitting in the kitchen, which he had converted to a computer room. He loved that computer room, and he always stayed in that computer room, so he sat him in the computer room. So the computer room is literally right next to it. The video about your room is funny. Thank you. It was one of my first digital videos. I've done a lot of videos even before that, but I did them just for me. And I have them all on mini DV. I've been trying to convert them, but I can't get one Mac to sync with the stupid camera. I might have to buy another camera, because I think it's the camera. So I still have all those on tape. Which technically is a digital video, but it's a little different because it's still on tape. But that was my first real digital video that I ever did. I want to try to find my English project video, which was really, really embarrassing, but I kind of want to upload it still anyway. In high school, about a year or two after that video, I actually did a video for English talking about oil pumps. I don't know, I can't remember why. It was something to do with you need to sell some kind of some kind of thing as some kind of satire thing. I think it was. It was all for satire, and we could either write like a 20-page paper or do a video. I think it was. I did a 15-minute long video because I wasn't about to write a 20-page paper. And I came up with this really stupid character, and I played all two characters, or three characters. I was a TV spokesman and a bunch of other things, all in the same room, and I just changed my clothes and switched the camera over. It's a funny and really stupid and kind of boring video, but it's got a lot of funny parts in it. And that's where a lot of my comedy came from when I used to do joke intros on some of my videos. It came from that video. It's the inspiration from it. And I don't do joke intros anymore simply because I should do a few more. But simply because I started joke intros to make me feel better after my grandmother died. It helped me loosen up to film. So I did a joke intro and started doing that. But I don't do it anymore. I don't feel the need to anymore. But I should sometime. A lot of people liked them. A lot of people thought they were stupid. So the people that liked them. But yeah. I wish I could find that video. I've got it, I think, on DVD sitting at my mother's house, actually. I gotta try to rip it sometime. Yeah, Aaron, I'm sorry to hear that about your grandmother. It's rough how rapidly someone can age, especially with dementia. It's hard to watch it happen. My dad, he still had brown hair mostly at 53. He'd been balding for years. He balded from the back. I'm balding from the front. I get that from my mother's side of the family. But other than that, his hair was still brown. He had no wrinkles. He was in really decent shape. He was always obese. But it didn't really catch up with him, and nothing really slowed him down until his first heart attack. And then he just rapidly started declining in appearance, in health. And honestly, if he had actually listened to his doctor and not pushed himself, he'd probably be around for another 20 years. But he pushed himself and a blood clot got him after his heart surgery. Anyway, yeah, it got dark. Sorry. But yeah, it's rough to see people decline. My great aunt just see here. My great aunt is 90 now, 91, something like that. She's old, so it's understandable. But she was still very energetic and very outgoing. She got dementia when my great uncle got sick, and he just recently passed. And she's shooting down like a rocket. It's a rough disease, and I feel you. I'm sorry. I really am, man. Oh, here's a topic. A friend and I were talking about who buys the new Mac Pro, and I said studios, and he said that is false. Who is right? Studios. And it's not just studios, but like movie studios. You know, any multimedia company. There's a lot of them out there buying Mac Pros because Mac Pros still, of course, have the most. Apple just has the best multimedia stuff usually, and of course you can run Windows on them too, which helps in case you need some Windows Essential something. But studios. I agree with you. It is mostly studios. Creators, really high-end creators. I really want the new Mac Pro so badly, but I don't have that kind of money. Currently, we're streaming on my 5.1 Pro, which CPU's in laptop bag. I still haven't upgraded the CPUs of this thing, and I have to keep remembering that I still have those CPUs sitting in that bag. So that's been sitting there for since I moved in June or July. But currently, look, a VCR. I have stacks and stacks of VHSs, and today I decided to get ready to start ripping them. I found them from my dad's collection. I want to see what's on them. Got a VCR here. We're going to rip them using an Elgato capture right here that Dad actually had. I think he was getting ready to do it himself, but he didn't have a VCR. This VCR was actually in my bedroom closet for some odd reason. It's one of our first VCRs I ever remember. I don't know if it still works. We're going to find out eventually. I just hope it doesn't fry. Chew up any tapes. I'd buy one if someone gave me the money. I'm good with the 2010 Mini for now. Really need to get a Pro. Even an '08 would be amazing for my uses. Yeah, because '08s are so expandable still. And, of course, they'll still run Catalina with the patcher. Still a very useful system. Talking about Mac Pros, is it worth the upgrade from a 2.8 to a 3.2 octa-core? For the 3.1, yeah, I was going to do that. I was going to do a video on it, but I never did because my dual 2.8 ran as fast as my dual 3.0 2.1 because the bus speeds and stuff, they equal out in benchmarks and stuff. It will actually produce a lot more performance, but it's still, it depends whether you really need the performance, because it's, other than being snappier and processing things a little bit faster, I don't know if it's really worth it today to do it. But if you can find the right CPUs for the right price, I'd go for it. Just remember, it's got to be the SLA steppings. So like on the what is it, 5480, 54. The fastest one, which is the 3.2, is 54 something. I don't remember. 5482. The 5482, you have to have the SLA-NX stepping. If it's the SLB stepping, it will not post. It's got to be the earlier stepping. The system just doesn't support SLB processors, so you can't go anything other than the SLA. You gotta verify it's an SLA before you buy it. Otherwise, you'll probably be out of money unless they accept returns, because you're going to have a useless system until you put the original CPUs back in it. Let's see here. Thoughts on EU getting on Apple's tail, first with Lightning and now removable batteries. I didn't know about the removable battery one. But thoughts on Lightning? We really should be going to USB-C. There was a time and a place for proprietary connectors with Apple devices, but that time and the place has gone very, very far away. And Lightning's still USB 2, where USB-C is USB 3.1 or better. You know, it's time for a change. So I understand why the EU is getting on them, because a standardization of connectors for that, and of course Apple is already going USB-C on iPads. A standardization like that would be very handy and very good for everyone, honestly. I see why the EU is really hammering them for it. So I actually think it was a good thing that the EU is trying to do that. Removable batteries, though, I didn't hear the EU was doing that. It's going to be interesting. Apple might actually end up pulling out the European market, knowing them, if they don't get their way. So we'll see what happens there. The ones that have Costa Rica written on them. Yeah, I think that is the SLA ones. I'm not really sure on that, though. Have you seen Snazzy Labs? Apple needs a Mac Pro Mini. I haven't watched the video yet. I haven't had the chance to yet. But it's... I kind of agree. We need a system that is... Because I'm sure I know what he's talking about even without watching the video. We need a system that is small but still expandable. We don't need a full-size tower. It's still technically a mid-tower, though, I think. But we don't need that much for that kind of power, and I went out of focus again. Come on, go focus. Focus! Focus! Ah! Dadgummit! Come on. Go into focus. Go into focus. Go into focus. There it goes. And then my dogs went off. Anyway, we a system with a few expansion slots would be handy. There was a person trying to do a Kickstarter to turn Mac Minis 2018s, but the example, because it's the same size, it's not space gray and it's not 2018. Turn these into mini Mac Pros with an expansion dock, which would have given a I think it was like 2 or 4 slots of PCI expansion out of it. That would be basically what Apple would need to do, is make something that uses more consumer grade hardware but still allows expandability for the people that can't afford $6,000 for the base model, or $5,000. I lost track here. But anyway, can't afford the base model. Something mid-range. I don't know if it really should be between the iMac Pro and Mac Pro, but something that more people can afford, that need to be creative and need the horsepower, but don't need that much horsepower. So I think it would be a good idea to have a mini Mac Pro option too. Apple needs a $1,000 Macintosh tower. They do, Garrett, but it's not going to be $1,000 for sure. I could see $2,000 or $3,000, and that's still more affordable than the base model for sure. Let's see here. I will admit, with Lightning and all, I am a Luddite. I've never owned a computer that had better than USB 2.0. Honestly, most of my systems still only have 2.0 or slower. But for instance, my Mac Pro's got a 3.0 card in it. And a lot of my higher end PCs have 3.0 or 3.1 in them. I think actually the tower that I have for my girlfriend upstairs has USB 3.2 in it. It's really hard to keep track of them now, because at this point it should be USB 4, in my opinion, because it is quite different now. But still, USB 2 is still a problem, because transferring, I film on my phone most of the time. This is a XS Max. I record 4K video on it. To transfer one 4K video, it takes like 30 minutes through USB 2, where on USB 3, it would probably take a minute or two. It's time for an upgrade. They need to upgrade it for sure. Anyway, guys, so we're getting towards the end of the official Mac Yak time. So we're going to start rolling it down, spinning down everything. Have you ever considered putting a Mac Mini in a compact case with an LCD? Yes, I have. In fact, sorry, Garrett, if you've seen some of my most recent videos, I'm going to actually literally be sticking a Mac Mini into a compact case with an LCD. It's called an iMac G4. But yeah, I've considered it, of course. Yeah. So anyway, so we're going to start wrapping up, guys. Thank you for joining today. It wasn't until a few months ago I got an SSD running on a modern computer for the first time. I hate the idea of losing hundreds of dollars in the Lightning accessories. There will probably still be adapters for it. I don't think there is currently for C to Lightning. There might be. There will probably still be adapters for it, though. I still have a stack of dock connector accessories that still work totally fine with my Lightning devices. And it'll probably be the same thing. In fact, my favorite iPod speakers I still use to this day. In fact, I just bought another set of them because my old ones are really worn out. But they have 30-pin adapters on them, and I just use an adapter 30-pin to Lightning. Works fine. You know, probably be an adapter for it still. Hi, Jay. You caught the very end of the stream. Congratulations. Where have you been? But anyway, let's see here. I got an SSD SATA Mac Pro 3.1 PCIe adapter, and the speed is only around 360 megs. It is in the 2.0 slot. There is some lane addressing issues I've been reading lately. There's a way to actually change the lane still, even though it's not officially supported or something. It might help with the speeds, but make sure you do indeed have it in the 2.0 slot. Because if I remember correctly, the top two slots are 1.1, the bottom two are 2.0. So make sure you have it in the second lowest slot. It's also possible that your adapter for the SSD just doesn't work right. Who knows? Anyway, so yeah, we're going to start wrapping up. Thank you guys for joining today's live stream, Mac Yak number 61. Next week we will be back to normal, I hope, unless we have some other surprise. I love how Jay is saying hi to everyone right now at the very end. You really timed this great, didn't you, Jay? But anyway, thank you for joining Mac Yak 61. Don't forget, we do have our Discord. I'm trying to remember how we end Mac Yak because I don't ever do this. I'm just staring at the camera like this. While GT is doing it. So I get very blank while doing it. So don't forget, we do have a Discord. There should be a link in the description, I think. If someone wants to put the Discord link, since Jay's already here, if someone wants to put the Discord link in the chat, that would be great. Don't forget, we have the Discord. To join it, you have to read, you only see one channel. You have to read a list and follow the instructions, and then you can join and see the rest of it. But the link, which I'm sure someone's going to share, please. Darn it, I'll see if I can bring it up on Discord. I gotta wait for it to load first. Will Macintosh Man join sometime? What is his name? He told me, and now I've already forgotten it. Anyway, I know his name now because he told me, but what is it? Manfred. I think it's Manfred. Manfred, thank you, Bruce. Now I can close out Discord. Thank you. But Manfred can't join currently, but he will be joining in the future probably. We'll talk about PowerPCs and how it's useful still today. But he can't join probably for the next few months. He's busy. But I think he's interested. But anyway, yeah, he'll eventually join us. Anyway. So yeah, Discord, blah, blah, blah. Thank you for joining. Mac Yak 61, aka my number 10 Q&A from my channel, but streamed on Mac Yak. Come join me over at Discord. I'll be on there for a few minutes to say hi to everyone, and then I'll be getting out of there. But I'll be there. I'm sure Bruce will be there. I hope you're going to be there, right, Bruce? Jay will be there. Any of the Mac Yackers that can make it there will be there, I'm sure. And yes, do not forget to subscribe. Thank you there, Trina. And don't forget to like. A few minutes, how generous. Well, yeah, Jay, I do have some things I have to do. But, you know, I'm already going 4 minutes over our regular stream time for Mac Yak now. It's still really dumb, guys. I don't know why we're doing this. But, yeah, you're quite welcome, 90 Skater Dude. Yeah, that guy. The guy that Charlie says. So yeah. Anyway, so I will see you guys over at Discord. I am getting out of here. Thank you for joining. And this has been a Mac Yak and Hrutkay Mods video. Bye, guys.